Hello and welcome to another Spotlight Collection video, except this time I actually have a camera on my table and I'm going to go through the book more thoroughly. It's probably going to be a little longer than my usual ones because my usual spotlights are like 3 or 4 minutes because I just go over basic, this is the book, this is what it does. But I'm going to go into a little more in depth, something I wanted to do for a little while. We're going to start off with the book that I keep in my backpack and I take with me when I go and plan out, if I'm not at home for D&D. But the Dungeons and Dragons Rules Cyclopedia. And to start off, the art on the cover is fantastic. I, I don't know if it says who drew it, and I should know this, especially if I'm going to talk about the book. But the art is fantastic. I love it. I love it. It evokes, it makes you want to play D&D. You look at this and you go, that looks fun. But to start off, we've got the table of contents, starting off with introduction, character creation. What else do we got? Character classes, spells, other character abilities, rules, combat, mass combat, experience, non-player characters, strongholds, monsters, immortals, treasure, planes of existence, campaigning, and variant rules. Now, if I recall, this book is a collection of books for D&D Basic. I could be wrong on that. I'm not I'm not 100% sure on D&D history. I know a little bit here and there. I know I've watched videos, I've read up on it, but coming straight off the cuff, I can't remember everything. But to start with, we have character creation, which back then, if I recall, was a little different because I know now when you roll your character, it's 4d6, drop the lowest. But I believe back then, where was it? Yeah, roll for hit points, roll ability score improvements, roll for money. Where is roll for ability scores? Right here, yeah. Roll 3d6 for each ability, and I believe you go down the list, and that's what you get. You get strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. And I believe you just go down the list, roll for strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma, as in go from top to bottom, and that's what you get. You can't really, you can obviously. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if Dungeon Masters said, nope, that's just how we do it. But I know a lot of DMs are probably like, no, you can just roll the 3d6 and take, put them where you want to go. So if you want to be a fighter, strength, magic user, intelligence, so on and so forth. But for classes, we have cleric, fighter, magic user, thief, dwarf, elf, halfling, druid, and mystic. Now, I'm not quite sure how druid and mystic work, but I do know the basics of cleric, fighter, magic user, and thief. But what's interesting is back in the day, you were always a human. You weren't an elf, an orc, halfling. You weren't a tiefling. You were a human. And to be another race, you had to pick that class: dwarf, elf, halfling. And once again, obviously it's DM discretion. Back then, maybe not as much, but I would not be surprised if back in the day when you're making your character, your DM was like, okay, you want to be a fighter, you'll be an elf, but you won't be an elf, if you know what I mean. But we got roll for hit points, ability scores, roll for money, roll 3d6 and multiply 10 to find your character's starting goal. Now, in 5th edition, when you roll for money, you have two options when you're making your character. You can either roll for money or you can pick the equipment out of the starting equipment for your class. Personally, I've always just picked what I can, and then later on as I get money, I buy what I want. But back in the day, it does not say anything about starting equipment other than what you get. So you roll for money and you hope you get enough to buy what you want. It's 3d6 multiplied by 10. So the highest you could get would be, I believe, 180. So that's pretty good. I'll jump real quick to, where is it? Equipment. Equipment is page 62. There are no numbers in these books. 65, 63, 62. So here we have a list of equipment and pricing, I believe, right? Cost, yeah. So say you rolled up a thief or a fighter or something and you're like, I need a sword. So where would we find swords? Swords. short sword, normal sword, bastard sword, two-handed, and so on. If you want a normal sword, it's 10 gold. Not too bad, right? 10 gold? Yep, cost GP. 10 gold. So you could get really lucky and buy a plethora of items that you would like, or you could get really unlucky and not afford anything. And then you're kind of left. I wouldn't be surprised if a DM would be like, no, we'll start you with something. But back in the day, it wasn't as forgiving as it is now. So here we go. We got the ability score more in depth. We got strength, which is how well a character hits with melee weapons. We've got intelligence. Well, the intelligence, it literally just says high intelligence affects the number of languages a character knows, which is interesting. We've got wisdom, dexterity. Wisdom is for saving throws. Are discussed above. What do you mean? Dexterity is armor class. Hit with missile weapons. What else? We got constitution, which is basically your health. Charisma, which is you want people to like you and you want to talk well. Alignment. Now, alignment, I'm not sure how alignment worked back in the day. Now, well, here we go. You got lawful, chaos, neutral, and that looks like it's it. It looks like they didn't have lawful evil, lawful good, chaotic neutral. It was just literally law, chaos, and neutrality. And alignment behavior, a lawful character will fight to protect the group regardless of the danger. The character will not run away unless the whole group does so or is otherwise safe. A neutral character will fight to protect the group as long as it is reasonably safe to do so. If the danger is too great, the character will try to save himself. And then chaotic characters might fight the monster or he might run away. Now back then, like as I was saying, it doesn't really have good, evil, and neutral. Well, it has neutral, but it doesn't have lawful good, lawful evil, chaotic good, chaotic neutral, true neutral, stuff like that. And back then I think alignment had a bit more to do, back then and now it has more to do with roleplay. It's up to the player. If the player wants to roleplay and they want to stick to being lawful good and they want to go hardcore on that, that's fine. But the campaigns I've played in personally, alignment's never really come into question. It's never really been like, oh, you're lawful, you got to do this. It was more like, oh, you're lawful, whatever. But that's how it was. We got personality. Name is always important when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons because it's your character. And when you play, you want a name that evokes not emotion, but evokes something to what am I trying to say here? When you pick a name, it's your character's name. You're gonna stick with it until that character dies or the campaign ends. And it may feel like an inconsequential choice, but there's a lot of cases where a name sells a character. There's a lot of characters I've had, like my first one, Ragnar Orwood. Ragnar I came up with on my own, but Orwood was a random name generator. And I still remember the name to this day. We got personality, background. Now background is different. But it's different in the fact that it's not like where now you get background, you get skills, you get equipment, you get connection to your. You can go down the list and like roll randomly for your, what's the word, for your alignment. So like not alignment, where stuff like, where's my hand? I don't have my handbook, so I can't grab it and tell you. But here's my handbook. Nope, that's Dungeon Master's Guide. And that's Monster Manual. Forget it. So basically, you know this. Most people would know this. But when you're rolling, when you're doing alignment, not alignment, when you're doing background, you get certain, I guess quirks would kind of be the appropriate term. But basically, for instance, they help you roleplay. So basically, you've got, say you're not a folk hero, and when you're a folk hero, you have, what is the word? Not goals, not there we go. Ideals, flaws, and stuff like that. That just helps with roleplay. This did not have that. This did not have backgrounds. The background was just literally what you and your dungeon master cooked up with, saying, hey, can I be a noble? Sure. Hey, can I be a A thief? Sure, stuff like that. But now we're getting on to, I'm going as fast as I can because I don't know how long I can record for. But we got cleric up first, and oh my, as you can see, the max level back then appeared to be 36, which I always thought it was 20, but I guess it can go up to 36. But this is well. I'm sorry, I'm still cutting over sickness. This is well before milestone XP. You wanted XP, you got it through gold and slaying monsters. And when I say gold, if I recall, because I've never played this edition. I'm going off all of what I've read through various books, articles, and what I've seen in YouTube videos. But if I recall, your gold directly corresponded to your XP. So if you find 100 gold, you got 100 XP, stuff like that. So when you look and see that level 36 is 2,900,000 XP, that's a lot. That is a ludicrous amount. But it has to be because you'll be level 36. I mean, look at this. You get 9 first level spells, 9 second, 9 third, 9 fourth, 9 fifth, 6th, and 7th. That's insane. That's a lot. But that's the cleric. You've got your turning undead over here. Let me turn undead over here. Let me adjust the camera. Sorry, pardon me. I'm still learning this camera. Not too far. Is that good? That's good. So right here you got your turn undead. So up next we've got the fighter, which everybody knows fighter, but they go to level 36 as well. But clear difference. A cleric, their max XP was 2,900,000. Fighters, 3,480,000. So that's a lot. We've got, well, here's magic user, which is probably, there was a lot of excuse me. There was a lot of difference between the classes back then in scope of late game. Magic users get really powerful. Well, fighters, they don't stay the same. They get powerful, but there is some disparity between power levels. We got thief, and thief, oh my, has a lot of charts. Then we have the demi-humans. We have dwarf, we've got elf, and finally we have halfling, which, odd that they picked halfling. I believe this was because originally, originally it was Hobbit, and then they got in trouble from Tolkien's estate, so they said, okay, halfling. And then we got druid, which I have no idea. I know nothing about druid from the rule Cyclopedia. I literally know nothing. But it says a neutral cleric of 9th to 29th level may choose to study nature instead of remaining amongst civilized areas. If he does so, he changes character class and becomes a druid. So there you go. You have to be a cleric, and you have to be between 9th and 29th level, and you can be a druid. And yeah, so it even says from 9th to 36. So there you go. And they get pretty powerful. And then we got the mystic, which does it tell me here, mystic? Does that class? No, where is it? Is it? I guess the mystic has 2 prime requisites, strength and dexterity. But since he must have a score of at least 13 in dexterity to be a mystic in the first place, it is his strength score that determines his bonus to experience. What? I don't know. I don't know about mystic. But there you go. That's mystic. And let's move on to spells and spellcasting. So right off the bat, it's a lot to take in. 5th edition spellcasting isn't simple by any means, but it's not as complicated as this, which isn't too complicated. It's pretty much the same. Like if I go back to Magic User, which I love the name Magic User, but that's Thief. Where's Magic User? Magic User, it kind of is this. It's kind of the same, where you get your spells per level. So if you're a 7th level Magic User, 3 first level spells, 2 second level spells, 2 third, and 1 fourth. Now right here, it says number of spells known, which I'm assuming is like how a wizard can know a bunch of spells, but has to. Well, I believe a wizard can have as many as they want, but I'm talking like a druid knows a certain amount of spells, but they have to prepare them per day. I believe that's the same thing. But in the last chapter, you saw experience tables for all the character classes. The experience table for clerics, magic users, elves, and druids had a block columns labeled spell levels. This column shows you how many spells of each spell level the character can memorize at one time. So yeah, so you can know a bunch of spells, but you have to have them prepared, which makes sense. We got magical spell list of clerical spells. We got remove fear. That's one I've never heard of. We got the basic purify food and water, hold person, bless. Those are second level. Detect magic, light. Really? Detect magic is only a first level. Okay. Detect evil. We got resist fire, silence, snake charm. That's one I've never heard of. Continual light, cure blindness, and so on, and speak with the dead, so on and so forth. And it goes all the way up to where? Let's go up to 9th level and look for some. Let's look for some cool ones. 7th is 7th. I guess they can go. I guess 7th is the highest. Is that the case? I thought it was always 9th level, but no, the highest spell you could get was 7th back in the day. And of course we got wish, travel, which I don't understand. Travel is move quickly and freely even between the planes of existence. Okay. 360 to 120. The cleric can also enter a nearby plane of existence. So it's confusing, but I understand it. Druid spells, heat metal. That is hilarious to me because that means it's always been. We got fairy fire, locate, warp wood, hold animal, protection from poison, water breathing. And these are all druid. And let's see, we've got reversible spells. Unlike clerical spells, magical spells must be memorized in their reverse form to be usable in that form. The spellcaster must select the normal or reversed form of the spell when he memorizes the spell for the day. There's no problem to memorize a spell in a reversed form. If the spell can be reversed, the magic user knows how to memorize it. What? Reverse? That's confusing. I don't get that. But we got second level magic. There's going to be a lot of these. A lot of spells. And the art in this book, polymorph right there, turns into a cat. Perfect. But the art in this book is fantastic. I love it. I haven't really talked about it, but I do enjoy it quite a lot. Quite a bit. Still going on. Oh, so there we go. Magic users can go to 9th level. Clerics can only go to 7th. So let's double check that one more time. Yep. 9th. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. Right there. Magic users can go up to 9. And we get to 9, we have create any monster. That's insane. Gate, which is, heal. That's interesting. Immunity. Maze, which is now not a 9th level spell because I've used Maze. Is it? No, I don't think it's a 9th level. Meteor's form is. Power word kill, prismatic wall, shape change, survival, time stop, a staple, wish, of course. Is that all of them? Yep. Okay. So I'm going to end it there. Hold on, let me get a bookmark. Oh, pardon me. So that's where I'm going to end it. I go over, I'm going to go over more and more as I go, but I don't want to make these videos like 2 hours long of me just reading through the book. So that's the first half of this video. Next week will be the next one. But for now, that's all I've got. So, I have noticed there's been a fair amount of people looking at my videos, and that is something I am pleasantly surprised about. But if you enjoy what I do, consider subscribing because I do upload a lot. I didn't upload last week because, as you can tell, I was sick. I could not speak. I had such a terrible cough that I could not speak. But, thanks for watching. I mean it. I really mean thank you for watching.